All right, what's up, y'all? My name is Evan Strong, the founder of In The Image Clothing Company. Today's the 30th of April, 2025. This video is titled In The Image Clothing Company Poodle Parades. I'm going to get into it. This is one of our fourths to our company as a whole, In The Image Clothing Company Dogs. Yeah, I'll talk about poodle parades in here. This is my little preface of what's to come after the intro. I'll talk about each four of the sides of our company just a little bit so you know what we are if you don't. But what this video is going to be is an introduction, kind of like a disclaimer, if you will, in a sense, of what poodle parades will look like. And I'm saying it today on the date that I said, the 30th of April 2025, before any of them ever happen, so that it's very intentionally clear, okay, on my end. So, In The Image Clothing Company Dogs, where you're at right now, this is where we key phrase, let dogs stay natural. In 2025 and going forth, we live in a modern world. There's a lot of man-made materials going into dog toys and accessories. Collars, leashes, and harnesses for dogs are often made out of those materials, but then also just imbalanced weight-wise and against the dog's neck. Yeah. Dehydrated foods, dog kibble, the water's been extracted from it. It's very unnatural. So we let dogs stay natural over here. Plus, In The Image Clothing Company Dogs as well, we will have purebred standard poodles being bred, okay? AKC registered and whatever registry needs to be had at whatever time. Proper dogs that you will be able to potentially end up with one of our dogs if you'd like a standard poodle. There's a video placed on this side of our company, In The Image Clothing Company Dogs, titled When the Standard Poodle Puppies Come, ... And I talked about how there's conditions. It's like adopting a child, a 15-year commitment, and us as the breeders under In The Image Clothing Company Dogs, we will be very specific and particular about who the dogs go to. So that video's there, placed on In The Image Clothing Company Dogs, so there's no question of prejudice or discrimination of who the dogs are going to. There's just conditions on a new family member coming to your place of living for the rest of its life, okay? So there you go. There's a video that I just made actually today titled How In The Image Clothing Company Dogs Will Look, and I just gave a rundown on a lot of what will be In The Image Clothing Company Dogs forever, a lot of what it's going to look like. So, okay, that's this fourth of our company. Another fourth is our main side of In The Image Clothing Company, where it all started, still our main side. Keyword, allowing the human body to work. We're just a mechanical machine placed onto a rock in space, aka the human body placed on Earth. Gravity pulls us straight down. There's a center line, the sternum, the spine, the trachea, the nose, and our jaw, which stabilizes the entire body. We place clothing onto us, and it needs to stay 100% natural materials, fit correct, stay centered. Yeah, I just did the motions with my hands differently than what I was saying, and that's how we allow the human body to work. So we will have In The Image Clothing Company clothing available for human beings with those things behind all of our designs. Yeah, and that's huge. That's where we started, and that's what we do in everything that we do, because it is our main side. But similar intentions to dog accessories, we will have collars and leashes available, as well as anything else we do get into product-wise for dogs. Minimal, natural materials, light, right? Ideally no restriction to the dogs. So another fourth of us, In The Image Clothing Company Music, where I show sizings and setups of guitars to allow the human body to work. We use our hands to play guitar. The hand is essentially the shoulder, as the feet are essentially the hips. The body just works as a whole. So there's also music placed there that I have personally made on In The Image Clothing Company Music. Now, one other fourth of us is In The Image Clothing Company Podcast, where I have deep discussions on the gospel of Jesus Christ, aka the truth of all things. I'm not religious, I don't push beliefs, but we're all human beings, we're all placed on the same earth. What is it? How is it? Why is it? We discuss it, and I get deep, bold, blunt, raw, and real. Check it out if you'd like to. We're on episode 114 as of today's date of In the Image Clothing Company podcast. I love it. Okay. So, poodle parades. I talked about them in that video that I just referenced on how In the Image Clothing Company dogs will look, but I want this video to be specifically just information on poodle parades. And I'm gonna say this, they're not happening quite yet. And so when they do happen, that's when the specific information will be, and like actually undisputed, this is how it's going to look, as far as when information comes out that we're actually scheduling a specific poodle parade on a specific date, right? Go to InTheImageClothingCompany.com at that time and find all the information on what that specific poodle parade will be, the requirements and everything, right? But as far as just how they will always be generally, right, I'm going to give a lot of information in this video so that it's documented before one ever happens, before I ever even have my own first standard poodle. Okay, today's date, the 30th of April 2025. I'm documenting this. Poodle parades under In the Image Clothing Company. We will get together with people and dogs, but here's the thing, only, and hear it very clear, only poodles and poodle mixes are ever going to be allowed at poodle parades for In the Image Clothing Company. It's in the title of what it is, poodle parades. So do not bring any other dog breed besides a purebred poodle and or poodle mixes, okay? Do not, your dog will not be allowed, okay? If that sounds harsh, that's okay. If you're offended, that's okay. It's our organization, okay? There's reasons to that, and there's reasons to that, okay? And I could talk about all of them, but that's just how it is. So no other dog breed allowed besides purebred poodles and or poodle mixes, okay? Doodles, right? Golden doodles, labradoodles, those mixes, right? Mixes of poodles and poodles only. I've hit it. I've almost spent a minute on it already, because it will never be that another dog breed is allowed besides poodles and poodle mixes. Okay, a big reason for that is accountability, responsibility. Poodles and poodles are going to get along better than poodles and some other dog breed. Okay, yeah. If any injury ever happens at a poodle parade, it is entirely on the individual that the injury happens to and or the owner of the dog that the injury happens to, okay? In the Image Clothing Company is not, nor ever could or will be responsible for any injury to a human being or a dog at any of In the Image Clothing Company's poodle parades. I'm saying it today, the 30th of April, 2025. And that's right. Poodles and poodles, or poodles and poodle mixes, will get along better than any other breed. But plus, we will only be breeding purebred standard poodles under In the Image Clothing Company. So that's our whole branding, is that specific breed. No other breed will ever be allowed at a poodle parade for In the Image Clothing Company. I'm just going to slam that into the ground with a stake as of today's date, the 30th of April, 2025. No prejudice, no discriminant, but just that's how it is, okay? That's how it is, and that's how it is, period, and done. So the thing is, though, any size poodles or poodle mix can come, but that is what it is. Just be aware, right? A large dog with a small dog, potential danger, potential injuries, and you know that if you own a dog, but I'm just making it as clear as I am making it. Okay, there you go. So what we will do is meet up wherever we do. Bring your poodles, bring your poodle mixes, okay? Every dog is required to come with a leash and a collar. Collar could be harness, but a leash and a way to attach that leash to the dog. Every single dog that anybody brings forever and always to a poodle parade under In the Image Clothing Company, okay, that's how it's going to be. Even if we are at a place where once we get there, we might, if and when, have dogs be able to be off leash, right? when you show up, every single dog that you bring, you as the owner or as the bringer of that dog are required to have a leash and collar or harness, some way of attaching a leash to each individual dog that you personally bring to a poodle parade, okay? So the cool thing with poodle parades, as I was talking about a little bit in that other video that I just referenced, it's going to be an awesome place where we can share with each other information that we're learning on just things that benefit our dogs. The goal is natural under all four sides of In The Image Clothing Company. So any information that you have that's working that you can share with other people, information that I have that I can then share personally with the people at the poodle parades, yeah, okay, it's going to be really great. It's going to be a good place to just hang out. It's not some place to like have any type of agenda that's going to happen, but really it's just scheduling a time and a place for people to come together and have a good time. Poodles and poodle mixes only, okay? So sometimes it might look like hikes. I live in Utah, the United States of America. We might go on hikes with dogs, and that's another thing when I don't want to say that there's sizing requirements for what you can bring, because there isn't. But I will say things like that, like I was saying about specifics that will be placed on InTheImageClothingCompany.com for actual individual poodle parade events. If it ends up being a hike, there will just be like a disclaimer on there, right? We will be hiking. Physical requirements for small dogs might be exceeded, right? I mean, some small dogs can't really hike so well just because their legs are small, okay? So things like that, yeah, just be very intentional to look at what we post or place or list under each individual poodle parade before it happens, before you pack your dogs up with a collar and leash for each one of them and come. Make sure that you know what you're getting into for that day, just because if you come and then it ends up being a hike that your dog's just not going to be able to physically do just because of its size, right? Large dogs can just go on long hikes easier than a small dog could, just because that's the mechanical advantage, right? We're in the Image Clothing Company. We talk about the mechanics of the beings, the human beings and the dogs, right? So you can still bring a small dog, right? If you want to put it in a backpack on the hike and just, you've got like a toy poodle, right? Throw them in the backpack, come on the hike. You can do things like that. That's why I say there's no size limits, only breed specifications, okay? Which I very, very clearly said. So, but just to be clear, because sometimes we'll just be maybe at like a flat field like this at a dog park or somewhere more natural than a dog park, right? Like just out somewhere that allows dogs for sure, right? And in that case, it doesn't matter if you've got a small dog versus a large dog. Capability wise, we're just in a field. So the big thing with making that so clear is just look at, as I said, I'll just reiterate one more time, the specifications on what the individual poodle parade for that date and that place are going to look like as far as the terrain and stuff, okay? So I think a big thing is make sure you have enough food for both you and the dog, enough water for both you and the dog that you're bringing, multiple dogs. You can bring as many dogs as you want, but just make sure that you can provide for each and every one of them a collar and leash for every single dog you bring, just so you can restrain it, right? And food, water for both you and every dog that you do bring, because we're not going to be providing those things. It's just a come hang out, kind of like a potluck, if you will. Like everybody brings the things that they will need, and then if we do share if and where. The big thing is though, be respectful, okay? I don't want to put too many like restrictions on things because I don't want to be in charge other than organizing it, right? The big thing, like I'm saying, some dogs don't eat certain foods, okay? And some dogs don't really mix with other dogs so well, as far as people like to keep their dogs cleaner than maybe some other people allow their dogs to get, and that's personal. And the reason that I'm saying it is because it's personal. We have to be very respectful, keep dogs away from other dogs if people are asking for that to be the case, right? Personal space, boundary type thing, right? Yeah. But I just don't want to be all strict about that. Like, it's got to be this like super structured thing. No, we're coming just to hang out, but it does need to be structured enough to where everybody feels comfortable there, right? You're bringing your dogs and you're coming yourself to have fun, to hang out. And so we need to do all that we can to limit, like, you know, aggression from dog to dog, and just be respectful to each other as human beings, as owners of the dogs, right? So poodle parades, this is how they will look, okay? It'll be very clear because they will be different on what it's going to look like, the duration. Maybe we'll spend like a whole day sometimes having a poodle parade. You can come and go, you don't have to stay the whole day, but you can. Maybe it'll just be a few hours sometimes, right? In certain locations, depending on the weather. Okay, poodle parades. The whole thing is hanging out, sharing information that we have learned as a community, as a family, under In the Image Clothing Company Dogs. We can talk about clothing as well, right? And that's kind of the big thing, is we'll have meetups and walks in the ways that we do under In the Image Clothing Company's main side. But, right, for dogs, sometimes we won't be allowing dogs under the main side of In the Image Clothing Company's meetups. I mean, me personally as the founder, if I bring a dog, right, I'm the one in charge of it. But, right, In the Image Clothing Company Dogs, our poodle parades, it's for the dogs specifically, okay? And it's going to just be really great. You can come, you can document yourself, right? Film things, take photos, hang out. We can talk about all the things. Like I was saying, collars, leashes, harnesses, feeding. We can share information of what's worked for us and what has helped our dogs personally. And yeah, right? There we go. Okay, poodle parades. I think that's all I need to say. It's an announcement, it's a disclaimer, this is how it will be. It's kind of covering myself, right? All the things. So there you go. Yeah, I think that's all we say as of right now. But look out for it. As of today's date, you can't go to InTheImageClothingCompany.com quite yet. It's just not made. The website, we own it, the domain, but that's where you will go, and we'll make it really clear on what you will need to bring, what you can expect. There's no expectations of you other than, right, the things that you need to be in charge of, meaning yourself and your own dog, and the personal space and respect of others, right? But we'll list all that out, make it nice and clear. We'll have a flyer, right, of each event that will come up, and we'll give enough notice beforehand for you to schedule around it if you'd like to come. But yeah, okay. I'm as blunt and as bold as I am on the things when they need to be, okay? Only, and I've said it, but I'm saying it one more time right now before I wrap up this video, only poodles, purebred, and or poodle mixes, okay? Only at In the Image Clothing Company poodle parades. Dogs can potentially be very, very, very harmful to other dogs, okay? And you can get that between poodles. You can get that between poodle mixes and other poodle mixes, or between poodles and poodle mixes. But In the Image Clothing Company Dogs, we are about standard poodles, okay? So only what I've said within this, as far as dog breeds goes, is ever going to be allowed at any poodle parade. You will be asked to leave if you bring any other dog that's not a poodle or a poodle mix. I'm putting my foot down on that, okay? So just making it very, 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 very clear as of today's date, before it ever happens, okay? Today's the 30th of April, 2025. And sometimes I get so bold, right? And it sounds like maybe I'm this mean guy. No, I just have things that need to be upheld as the one who's organizing things like this, okay? And that's just how it's going to be, okay? We'll put that on the flyer as well. If you bring another dog breed besides a poodle and or poodle mix, you will be asked to leave, okay? It's our event. That's our requirements. So if you get offended, cool, that's on you, all right? So thank you. There's how poodle parades will look under In The Image Clothing Company, and I'm excited for them. Be excited. Don't think that like because I'm so stern about it, it's going to be like this structured thing. No, I just, you know, there's certain things that we need to be very, very, very strict on. And that's how we are, right? Just like under our breeding program with the standard poodle puppies that will come, purebred, registered, proper dogs, it's going to be so properly done, just so everything's in order, everything's done well, okay? That's what I mean when I'm so strict about the requirements of things. Have fun and hang out. Don't feel like it has to be some type of like, you know, like military routine. No, right? I'm clear on the things I'm clear about because of the importance behind them, okay? So, thank you. Poodle parades, look out for it.